Now, to welcome the two stars this evening, we are going to welcome a star herself, the Asia Society Seattle Advisory Council member, Trila Bumstead. Trila is the owner of Ohana Media Group, OMG. She hails from the University of Washington, where she is Associate Dean of the National Association of Broadcasters Leaders Foundation. She has a unique background, including audit management at Deloitte, CEO of New Northwest Broadcasters, leadership roles at NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters, including being on the board of their radio division as well. She's the founder of Ohana Media Group, which includes 11 radio stations, and she's pretty cool to hang out with as well. Please welcome Trila Bumstead.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. And yep, I'm only 12. So, good evening. Welcome, everyone, including those resisting the temptation to check your emails. Well, it isn't quite Aloha Friday, it is Pauhana. So before we get started, just check your phones, turn them off, turn off the ringer, please, and we will begin. On behalf of Asia Society Seattle, I am thrilled to welcome you to the third and final evening in our Sam Talks Seattle Speaker Series, a program proudly presented in collaboration with SAM. Tonight's gathering holds special meaning, particularly for me, as we celebrate Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month under its powerful national theme, A Legacy of Leadership and Resilience. This month, we reflect upon and celebrate the enduring contributions of AA, NH, PI communities to the arts, to innovation, to the shaping of our shared cultural narrative. It's also a time to uplift the stories and voices that continue to represent what leadership and resilience looks like in the present day. And in line with that, we're going to have two amazing guests today. I'm honored to welcome Zheng Chongbin. He's an internationally acclaimed artist whose works blend traditional Chinese ink with contemporary media. His work has been exhibited globally, and he challenges us to reimagine both the materials and the philosophies that shape our visual world. So tonight, think about a dinner and feasting with your eyes. In addition, we're also welcoming Daniel Pak. He's a beloved musician here from Seattle. He's a cultural leader and the co-founder of Totem Star, an organization dedicated to empowering youth through music and mentorship. Daniel's commitment to community reflects the very resilience and the leadership that we are honoring this month. Join me in giving them both a warm welcome. It's great because it's just us, because I can't see anybody. I do want to start by laying sort of the landscape. We're going to spend about 15 minutes talking to both of these amazing artists and getting really a flavor for what they're going to present tonight. I'm going to start with Chongbin. He was born in Shanghai, and he's been living in the San Francisco Bay Area for over 3 decades. He bridges classical Chinese ink traditions and contemporary conceptual practices. He was trained as a figurative painter in China, and after his first solo exhibition at the Shanghai Museum of Art in 1988, he came to the US on a full paid fellowship to study at the San Francisco Art Institute, where he earned his master's in fine art. Inspired by the Bay's area, just the rich environment that he sees himself in. We were talking backstage in the room about just the fog and the coming and the opening and the closing of everything that goes on at the bridge and around the Bay. His work is held in major museums around the world, including the British Museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and the Asian Art Museum of San Francisco, and most notably, in March, there's a survey show now at the LA County Museum of Art that is going to be running through June of 2026. It is not to be missed. LA CMAs, this will be their longest running show, and he is honored as the first Asian American to have this honor. So I want to start with you. Can you describe for us, if someone in the audience is just seeing your work for the first time tonight, what do you hope they would feel or notice first?
Well, I guess
Come close.
because the medium that I'm showing is kind of all together with the paintings and videos. They kind of all connected. And the reaction that I seeing that something feels very familiar, but is also feel very different. And I would say, I would hope that a work can be really communicatable, and it works something that is not only on display, is actually changes the space and changes your kind of a perception and visual experience. So something you can grasp, something you can take it with you, feels in that way.
Right.
I think it's the new lens in a way to see how things are differently. So that's what I was hoping the artwork. It has happened to me, and I feel that the same way it can happen to the audience. So.
I feel like we're in the perfect space for that. The SAM is just most visually beautiful, and I cannot wait to experience your work. This will be my first time, so that's why I asked that question. I want to get a little personal. Can you remember the first time you picked up a brush or made something that felt like art to you?
Well, I actually have no idea. Was in the start. It was a teenage, and
There we go.
I was playing around, and then my father forced me to do the drawing once a day. If I don't, I would get a punishment. And so just sort of
parents forcing their kids
kind of like
to do things.
It's kind of like tiger fathers,
Yes,
tiger
right?
mom. Yeah. So, but
None of us have tiger moms or fathers. We
right,
know.
that's great. So, but in a way that the over the time that I started like it, and then they found me the teacher, and the teacher was the first time. I have no idea which media, what to look into, because it's all just pick up the pencil and do the drawing once a day, and write some calligraphies too. And so that's always kind of a in the kind of programs. But the teacher actually took me to the museum first time in Shanghai. It was all the artifacts and all the more towards patterns and decoration on the fabrics, on the ceramics, and so he told me that it's most important is a line. So he is the Chinese painting teachers, was at the Shanghai Academy at the time. I mean, it was actually, and then the Cultural Revolution, they were sent it to the factories and doing different kind of design work. But his teacher was one of the master, the traditional painters in Shanghai group, and so it was very well known. So he actually suggested me to buy the material, 3 basic materials. One is ink stick, and the 3 different type of brush, and then the one is also the shrimp paper. And so, but he didn't ask me to immediately pick up the media, just buys it and keep it, and then
Don't touch it.
Then working on the life drawing, and then come back later. So
Wow.
I kind of treasure this 3 material that I had never really encountered, and so, but every once in a while I took out and look at it, and it just really
Inspiring for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Can you tell us something people might be surprised to know about you, either as an early artist or even something, in your present day state?
I think is most profound was 1983. I was in my last year of the graduation show, which is the last semester in that back then we called Zhejiang Academy. Some of them maybe you know, but now they call China Academy of Fine Arts. So I was major Chinese paintings, in figurative paintings. In the last semester, you can choose wherever you wanted to go in China.
Right.
Basically to anchor your idea of what your graduation shows the work's going to be. So we were in Dunhuang, and then right after Dunhuang, I decided to go to Tibet. So I went by myself, and without knowing, get into it, and I didn't come out until 4 months later.
Wow.
And nobody know where I was.
Right.
And so, but I lived with the nomads for 4 months.
Right.
And did many drawings. It go through many adventures. I mean, it would take me hours, can't talk about it. And so that was profound change to my life in a way. When I came back to Shanghai, I went back to school, everybody went wild because of the image that I got. It was totally, have never been seen before. But not just before, because I kind of have a habit that is not knowing what you're doing, and then you go along and you figure out one place by the next place, and you always have some new discoveries, and it's just beyond your expectations. So that's something that I think might be buried in the seeds for me to think about the way how you practice your art.
Practice
Same way,
that.
yeah.
Well, I'm pleased that you went there and not just Brad Pitt. That's awesome. Like, like just the realness of that, though, like coming
Right.
through your art and all of that. Like a lot of us, I was mentioning to you both, I've never traveled outside of basically the United States. I've never been to Asia. So I think it's amazing. I'm so excited tonight to have you bring that here to me. And I'm looking forward to maybe my first trip in October so that I can broaden my horizons. So I want to switch gears and I want to turn to Daniel Pak. Born and raised on the island of Oahu, he's a singer-songwriter and is a producer, and he now lives in Seattle. He's a solo artist, and he's performed alongside legends like Stone Gossard of Pearl Jam and Sir Mix-a-Lot. Anyone know Mr. Mix-a-Lot? Yeah, okay. We're not singing that tonight, right? This is not a contest. Okay, great. Beyond the stage, he is the co-founder and executive director of Totem Star, which is a nonprofit youth development organization that has supported more than 7,000 young artists through music production, performance, and mentorship. He's also served in many leadership roles, including co-chair of the Seattle Music Commission, and governor for the Recording Academy, and most recently in 2022, he was inducted into the Asian Hall of Fame. And I want all of you to make a special note. Monday, May 26th, Folk Life Festival, 5 p.m., Mural Amphitheater. Write it down now because after he performs tonight, you will forget and you'll be like, where was that? So, while we're going to have a visual buffet here, we're going to have a musical buffet with Pak and his Lolos. And a similar question to you. When you walk into a room like this, filled with art, culture, new people, conversations, what are you hoping people are going to walk away with tonight?
Wow, that's a good question. I wish I could see more clarity of who's in the room, but they weren't kidding. Like you really can't make out a lot of faces, but I see a lot of people. And I'll tell you, like, ever since I was a little kid, music was always the connector. My dad was my first music teacher back in Kaneohe on the windward side of Oahu. And you were talking about Bach, how you paint to Bach. And like that was actually some of the stuff that I learned. I learned Johann Sebastian Bach at a very young age. And when my family used to come over for dinners, we have dinner at the table. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. And then after kind of the conversation kind of subsided, my dad was always like, hey, Daniel, you want to play a song for the family? And I wasn't the kid that was like, oh, I don't want to. I was always a kid like, yes, like, I've been waiting for you to ask me all dinner. And I would just get on the piano and I'd play, like, because I knew that it led to laughter, it led to smiles, it led to clapping, it led to enthusiasm, it led to... This book I'm reading right now is called Your Brain on Art, and it's basically talking about whatever kind of art form you enjoy, whether it's a poem, whether it's a painting, whether it's a piece of music, whether it's a show on Netflix. It doesn't matter what kind of art you're getting involved in, dance. It's changing our biology. It's releasing dopamine. It's releasing oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. It's the building blocks in our bodies of what leads us to finding joy, exploring our imagination, exploring something that we might take a risk on, whether or not it's a relationship or going to visit a place, right? But I would just say, not knowing who's in the room, I wish I knew. And I guess there's a reception after this that we can all hang out at.
Yes, there's a reception.
I would just want everybody in this room to like realize that art is our connection to our inner soul. It's our connection to each other, and that art allows us to explore our imaginations, take creative risks, sometimes fail, and then pick ourselves back up again and realize that in that process of enjoying art, our biology has indeed changed and we've grown as humans.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So in that same light, I want to know what the soundtrack of your childhood sounds like. What are the artists and the songs that are still with you today? And right, this is going to age you, right? We're going to know exactly, based on what you say, what decade.
Billie Eilish, Kendrick Lamar, you know.
We're all 12. We're all 12 up here.
When I think about my most formative years growing up in Kaneohe, one of my sons is in 7th grade, and that's 13 years old. And I remember as I was 13, what I was hearing on the radio a lot that I'd write do my homework to, and I'd be jamming out, was like the Ka'au Crater Boys, the Makaha Sons of Ni'ihau, Kaylee Reichel, the Spice Girls, you know.
They're back. No, they're not here. They're not here
my very first cassette tape that I bought. Cassette tapes, anybody? Was my two first cassette tapes were Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer.
That's awesome.
My first CD was MC Hammer's "Too Legit to Quit." I mean, I'm sorry. My brother and sister will forever shame me for that, but I mean, one of the songs that I listen to in the car a lot with my kids, and I don't know, they're probably tired of it, is "November Rain" by Aerosmith. I mean, that song is like a anthem, right?
Right.
But at the same time, in Hawaii, Bob Marley, reggae was huge in Hawaii, right? So a lot of contemporary Hawaiian music, a lot of reggae music, and amazingly, listening to that music, you know, I realized that like Bob Marley and Steel Pulse and Third World and Toots and the Maytals, Sly and Robbie, they all became like these legendary figures to me. And who would have known that music, the ultimate connector, would have led me to actually not only meeting them, but sharing the stage with a lot of these folks.
Amazing. Well, and also the free medium, right, that binds us all together. I do want to have an opportunity for you to talk about your very powerful not-for-profit Totem Star, because it feels like you've had this amazing music career, but you mentioned your son already, the connection through that, and then what inspired you to start Totem Star, and tell us more about the program here in Seattle.
Wow, this is bringing back a lot of emotion. Young people are the future. That's basically the end of the thing. It's like the more that we champion and amplify the voices of young people, the better our humanity will be as we go into the future. Because all of us in this room, again, you know, we're only here for so long. We live these lives that are full of, you know, achievements and joy and some sadness and some challenges, and ultimately it's interesting, but also in this book that I'm reading, there's this reference to this study, this research study by this palliative psychologist, I believe. But what she was exploring the top regrets of people that are gonna die. Like, I think her book is called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And I've become really interested in learning more about this. Number one, like, she's hanging out with people that are essentially, they know that they're on their way to the next plane of existence. But the number one thing that they will always say is that I wish that I lived my life with being more true to myself than what is expected of me amongst all the people and the environment that I live in. And number two, that I'd be more, that throughout my life, I was more willing and able to share my actual feelings in every moment. And so that's really hit me. I'll age myself. I just turned 45. And, you know, I still feel like a baby. I'm still learning. But I'm also thinking about legacy. And I think that one of the biggest legacies that we can leave is to leave opportunity, resources, access to the people that come after us, which are the young people. So what Totem Star has done is over the last 15 years built a safe space for essentially recording artists ages 14 to 25 to really discover themselves in the recording studio alongside all these artist mentors that really, really care about not only producing their music, but delivering the life skills that they need to move forward in whatever endeavors they do. We were able in 2024 to open a brand new recording studio inside King Street Station, right in the heart of CID and Pioneer Square. And it was an amazing partnership that we worked out with the City of Seattle and the Cultural Space Agency. And City of Seattle granted Totem Star a 60-year lease on that space. So young people for the next 60 years will be able to go and make music inside King Street Station.
Amazing. That's an amazing setup for what we're about to do next. So really, since I said music and visual, we're not going to sit here like this anymore. So thank you for setting the stage. What we're going to do is we're going to stand up and we're going to get to the goods. So thank you for setting the audience up for what's coming. And we're going to switch over to the podium. We're going to get to the goods right now. You guys are going to perform and show your stuff. So thank you both. We're going to do a little set change here. And while we do that, Chongbin and I are going to head to the podium. And then we're going to see Daniel in just a few minutes coming back. So thank you. So as we get ready for this transition, and don't look behind me, nothing's happening. I wanted to give Chongbin an opportunity to give us a little snippet on what you'll be focusing on today with your presentation.
Certainly not to perform.
Not to perform. He said.
But let me
Okay,
see
good.
here.
There you go.
I actually brought quite a bit of the slides, but I know we have a time limit. I'm trying to get going through that as quick as possible. But I want to talk, mostly the work is close to recent, maybe last 15 years that I do. But I do have a couple images which is reflected to the early days, what I was starting with. Even though those works not done in the 80s, it's still considered recent, but it's something that is connected to the meaning, cultural meanings, and why this media that I'm using as ink. So.
Terrific. Well, let's get started.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. This is the work that I done in 1999. It's the starting sort of painting again. I was in the San Francisco Art Institute. I was working mainly as a performance art in the videos and conceptual art and installation, actually. And so I find a way. I was a painter for a long time, and then I was stopped paintings because I have tried to have a strong reason to think about what do I want to paint. And since I moved to here, and so entirely I was in China was focusing on the expanding the traditional vocabulary. The ink varies a lot more. What I call the indesical trace, meaning is classic Chinese art has many different the inquiries in terms of what ink relate to brushwork, how brushwork relate to the way how your body moves and your body movement directing from your observations in terms of studying the natures. That connections has a sets of a rule. The rule that has developed the formulas are how to maximize the performance of the ink and through your body kind of extension through the brushwork. So it has a very strict rule, but also in that rules that you try to find the freedoms and go beyond. But as I find a reason to paint again, and I starting the group of works called the Dot series, this is the blot series, which is really focusing on the materialities and in terms of how the ink can create the layers, and even the setting with the somewhat look like calligraphy setting, but it's very random and basically exploring the media. the media, how can be to actually create a space that the surface not only become the surface, it's became more, have a certain dimensions in terms of changing the way how we think about this media. And that comes the reason why, this is not the image. All right, yeah. So this is maybe go back, yeah. So that comes the reason I did the reinterpretation of the sixth law, which is by one of the classic scholars and artists in the 5th centuries. And sixth laws basically tells you the vital resonance and also the bone method of the brushwork and how transforming the image, and also the accordance based on the object, and all the rules that is applied. But I found a certain limitation to that in terms of the contemporary art, the meaning. So the brushwork can be expanded to way not only use brush, but then also you could use a stick. You can pull. You can use many different media to mix into it, and so so the notion of the rule can be expanded. So this is sort of the work that I created called the Sixth Canon, and the same way that is same way as this traditional theory that has its set, but also structurally totally different. And obviously they are abstract paintings, and I don't know why I did that. I think a part of the reason when I doing that, I was working on totally different group of work, but I was writing essays, want to rewrite about the structures of this original ideas, and to think about this media, why I'm so attached to it, and for so many years still working on it, because many artists are working on the media. They started with the painters, and then they find they kind of feel no longer can push further, and then they move to the next levels in terms of working on installations and video works. But I feel that it's like sort of unlimited kind of a potential, especially use this type of Xuan paper. Maybe I should explain the Xuan paper is made out of the sandalwood, and they have long fibers, which is different than rice paper. But it creates layers that the ink particle can not only flow on the surface, but it also penetrates the surface and form the shapes also underneath. So that changes the way how I think about nature works, and how it's the let's say how the tree grows, how the roots expands, and how the land erodes, and all these are the things that is in hidden in the biology is hidden sort of like a fungi and create whole patterns and shifting and moving, and entire sort of redefines the geometries into notion of the space and shape entirely changing. So it's really media, the material as agency. And I'm looking at the ink work, which is also use a lot of acrylic, and those became really a living materials. And they actually, not a representing, but as a presenting how the function of the nature. And so these body work I started working on was in terms of, it was think about the spatial setting and how that architecturally that relate to the space and change the way how you look at the paintings from different angles. That was the starting doing more what I call the architecture, the architectonic of ink, which is related to the space and the light. And these are all larger scale work. And then this work you can see is actually cast from what's underneath, which is built actually different surface under the paper. And then once I work on this different the dimension of the surface and how ink seep through the layers of acrylic and are forming its own shapes, which is cast what's underneath. So which is basically how the form of geographic kind of a shifting and change, that is how it forms, how the water that creates all the trace and creates all the surface. And this is the ink that I'm using to adding much more layers to the ink and create a cold crystallized surface. But you can see the water trace and you can see the reflection, which is all part of the notion of abstractions. And so this is something that I much more go beyond actually in terms of depict something rather than instantiating what's the natures, how nature it's actually has its own reorganizational abilities, how nature is kind of seeing that a lot of invisible forces, which is made of this entire materialities and on the paintings that entirely have a different effect. This has to do with the cosmologies. It's hard to see the layers in here, but it was actually, in the actual piece, you can see many lines and layers and the space and depth in there. And this is the current show in Alakama, which is it's called the Golden State, which is whole geographies of California, how they're influenced by the light and the space these little works. In the yellow one, it's over. This is combined with the video works and the paintings together. This is how I create in the studios. I use the work, think about the paintings, as I mentioned, how the colors or the ink water can carry entire particles and penetrate through the paper. So a lot of the time I'm working with not only front, also the back. And it changed the entire process and sort of entire orientation of the work. To me, it's almost like a sculpture process that I'm dealing with the entire geography of land and geometries and light. So it became much more environmental. And these you can see how it sort of making it really almost like neural kind of structures, the capillary structures, and also there's kind of the entire landscape of how the media material itself is forming its own sort of way, which this is very similar that I see in the image that I took on the beach in the Marin County, and how water carves all the sand, creating entire lines and depth, which is exactly the same process how the painting performs. So I'm kind of basically is dealing with the painting as a facilitators, sort of coordinate with the work, how medium moves, material moves, which is the way directed towards that I got inspired from natures. This is how the ripple that carved out the sand, which is underneath of sort of the undulations that affected the current of the water. So when sun hit, you can see the entire light that the entire created. We have a video is coming up in the next few slides, showing you how the entire kind of net of light that gave me entire idea of thinking how the video works, and some of the video image, the language, I can use that for create a mesh. So this is the video work, and we'll show you here. How the ink how the ink moves, and how ink that actually re-emerges. So entire flow, which is the world as a fluxus, kind of the stage, which nothing set in the permanence. They always in the becoming stage and always emergent. So this video is called Chimeric Landscape. So I use basically ink as a main characters, and then create a nonlinear narrative of the video of how we live in a world, how is something that affects us directly, how the natures and how even the environmental change, natural disasters, or hidden world, everything relate to who we are, what we connected with. So this is the video work, part of Eclipse, showing that. And this another example is how the water that it performs the functions and changes the entire surface. Same, you can see that it's the flow of kind of neural capillary images, which is exactly the same how that happened. Water happened on the paper, on painting that I'm actually doing. So I'm not really actually painting that effect. So it's actually really instantiating how that is autonomy of media that is created that. Created that visual language. It's the same from video work. And this is the area where I lived. It's called Phoenix Lake, which is the back, very kind of a local known places. I always go hiking. The one of the years, the drought years, it was really profoundly actually moved me. And usually you see always beautiful, full with the waters, and there was entirely water was gone, and I'd be able to see what's under. It was exposed the landscape under waters, and it became kind of an entirely different sense to this landscape, and everything was actually functioning and relate to what happened in the visible area. So it's both sort of became very important to me, the visible, invisible sense, and so. This is the same how the water carves when I flew over the salt mills. And see how light changes, and then light sort of create a line for that. And this is another video, which is the tree stump I was passing almost for a year, and seeing that kind of erosions and change, but how they come back to the life, and then eventually sort of they fall apart, and so but you see the life coming back out again from the same site. So this kind of entropic cycles. And this is sort of, I based on this kind of experience, which is I did an entire video of entire area, which is taking part of from the fault line from earthquake effect to the season change to all the roots exposures, and create the entire works, and for called the branchial roots of the sky. It's another video work that I did. And that was the overlapping with the MRI and the CT scan of the brain neural kind of a shifting, and brain neurals kind of applied to in the way having living things, and the invisible living things were really much connected, associated with us. So this is the satellite image, which is for the Sierra Mountains, and which is part of using for my light space work. You will see this. This is shows you the pattern, how the branches and roots, which is expansion, the ideas from fractal geometry to the actual kind of geometry. This is the next image. You can see that movement in my video components. This is the brain scan. Which is I change entire different color, create entire choreographies for part of the clips for the other project for the immersive video installation. This is the one side of it, 3-channel. This is one side of image of the brain scan, all the nerves, sort of choreography of the overlapping 3 different brain scans, create an entire choreography of movement. Same. This is the ink that I use water to flow the entire map of the geographies, which is used my studio floors, and those are huge pieces. 4 pieces together create an entire kind of spatial map. This is the video work relate to that. This you can see that the one that I talked about earlier on. Which is I use that patterns made entirely, made all the order those net, which is called the shark tooth net, which has the layers create the entire projection surface and then create the entire moire patterns. And really entirely like became optical to create a depth of how sort of invisibleness became visible in a way once you actually in the space. But ideas all came from the natures and those phenomena of natures. This is an installation that I did in Shanghai Biennale, which is using ink, create an entire surface. The surface you can see relate to what I had to show you before. But I use a light, reflection, diffraction to redefine the entire space and movement of the space, redesign the entire space, and basically everything, wall, even nothing sits in a straight. Its entire it has this kind of a shifting dynamic. So you walk in, kind of force you to walk around to see every different angles, to experience the gradation of the light from the front, the entire structures, which is cascades down. The light was 30 different LED light from different temperatures, and then pull the entire lacquer floors. So you walk in a space, it's the entire dynamic movement of the light. And this is the 1 minute of the time lapse, show you how I constructed the pieces. But what am I interested in light space work is that not only based on the phenomenologies in the way how you engage in and perceive the nature, but also exploring the materialities has its own living way and how they're deeply connected to our life. And so this is the finished work. This is the project I did in Kyoto, which is one of World Heritage Space called Kennyonji. I used the entire temple. I spent back and forth a year to just study how the garden and architecture was a setting, because Kyoto was based on built on the entire water canal, water channels underground. The entire plants grow, and especially moss, and it has just very different appearance. But that year was a huge typhoons. It was never happened. It usually stopped right in Osaka, land in Osaka, but all the way to the inland and destroy a lot of gardens places. That was in 2018, and so in my observation back and forth, and when the abbot asked me to create a project in there, and I started trying to figure out 4 different facing the garden, how the design flows, experience the season changes, but that of the entire typhoon's destruction, which has affected the appearance of the natures, and also some of it adapted differently because it was it was like really kind of a drought, and the abbot was watering the moss, and the moss became so rough and texture is totally different. So, and I created a space that try to connect the outside of nature to the inside, and this is the example. The Tokonoma space wanted me to redesign when they wanted me to redesign it. So I installed the space with the vertical LED panel and live stream outside on the water basin where I saw it. It was a reflection of the rooftop, and half was sky, half is the actual rooftop. But when the wind actually blows and you see the ripple on the surface, I thought it was a beautiful straight line all of a sudden kind of oscillated between the actual the winds and the flows, and then also the surface of the water starting really changes, and this beautiful abstract line. So I'm going to live stream for the piece for the inside, and you will see the video. This is how it sort of sometimes purely totally still, sometimes it's just see that whole line changes. And so I thought it was perfect to live stream onto the inside on a video screen. And a camera does a great job because it gets confused. Sometimes zoom right into bottom of the water. You see a lot of algae in different colors, and then sometimes zoom out and then zoom on the sky. Occasionally you will see all the flower petals was April, so all the sakura, all the flower petal was floating on the surface. So it's kind of a really beautiful images that bring outside into the inside experience. And this is the entire space that I sort of divided, and based on the section, redividing that. So this is the wall, meditating walls, and change the other side of it. This is original, and this is after. Same with this, and this is after. And these are the interpretation of how the change in the whole entity of the gardens and plants changes. Some are multiplied and some are dead. And so I divided 3 sections and I use the image. These are created light, multiply all the elements. And that only happened when you move in the space, walk towards it. You can see how sort of light reinterpreting what's happening outside. And this is to bring outside the landscape into the inside. Same thing that the berries, reflectors, you can see through, but you also can see both sides. You also can see the landscape behind you. So everything was actually it's sort of the blurred sort of boundary between outside and the inside of a space. This was original before, and this is after. This is the last one that I'm talking, the project, which is San Francisco Asian Art Museum. I was commissioned to do the sky pieces for I Look for the Sky, which is, this is the section that I wanted to use in the way when you walk underneath to see the flow of the lights and really sort of almost like ecology grow into the space. Part of also I thought it was interesting at the time I was doing that, and I would use a lot of PVC perforated, used perforated PVC, which is custom designed, to create that kind of a light effect, almost like liquid light effect. I saw Noguchi's pieces, and I thought it was interesting because he had an idea, which is exactly what I was thinking. This is aluminum pieces, which is slightly bent. You see the edge. And nothing sets in the straight. And there's a hole. And when you look at this kind of flat pieces, but force you to walk around to see all the directions. So, which means your eye can land it on, you can't land it on the one places, because it's a flow. It's a flow of every angles. And the hole is because not only on this side, you also can be the other side. You can see through both sides. So it's really is something that is inserted in the space. It's kind of there. So it's really kind of alive. And rather than it's like one category of the piece, but that piece is really much into the entire environment. I thought it was a great idea. I was very connected to that. So I was thinking about it, just how to redefine the light, it's chaotic light, so that's how we build the pieces. So this is the process of that. See how light these light is, you walk underneath, it changes. One of the last thing I wanted to say is that I didn't realize there is air duct which is above in the area. So when I create the layers of this, the PVC, the sheets, it created an entire pattern. But the pattern, because of the airflow, flow right into between the sheets, it caused the entire vibration of very subtle vibration, but the entire light started shifting, moving on its own. So it's really pick up, but also invisible kind of living things that are right into your pieces. So it's it's really, it's kind of becomes alive. So we wrapped up in here. So, but I always feel that it's important, whether the video works, installation work, painting works, it's all the synergy of how reflected environment that the director relate to us. So, thank you.
Chongbin, thank you so much. That was so inspiring and amazing. Thank you, thank you. We'll see you at the end, okay? All right, well, guess what? Nothing's happening over here again. My menahunes are going to come out and help us get set up for Pak and his lolos. Menahunes? We're not supposed to see them. So we're going to do a little Hawaiian trivia while we get ready for this. If you're married to Hawaiian, you are Hawaiian, you like Spam, what's the universal call for your people? I want to hear it. Hui! We got no Hawaiians in the audience. I know there's one, because I birthed her. Where is she? Okay, so the universal call for Hawaiians when you're like trying to get someone's attention is hui! This is not going to get you ready for necessarily Jeopardy, but you'll be ready for Honolulu Airport. Okay, the second thing, what's the universal hand sign for Hawaiians? Shaka. So it's more like, where's Sam? Sam, show it how it's done local style. Yeah, like this. Real nice and easy, right? And that's the happy sign. So, you know, everyone lets you come into the lane. You know how, drivers in Hawaii, not good. And no one's going anywhere. It's an island, go round, round, round. So when they let you in, you got to give them either a nice wave or shaka. Okay. So Margaret and I had the awesome opportunity to go see Pak and the Lolos at Madame Lou's, which is the old speakeasy with El Gaucho. Do you guys remember that? Where they had the cigar bar and the whiskey. And I was talking to her about Hawaiian mele, which is really words, songs, if you're a hula dancer. Hawaiian mele is really rooted in poetry. So the direct translation is always this is what a pua is. A pua is a flower. Okay, great. But if you are from Hawaii and you want to really understand the layering of this, we also have this thing called the kauna, which is the meaning underneath. So when we showed up at Madame Lou's, I only knew Daniel as Daniel Pak, and I thought we were going to go see him. And I go up to the podium and I go, wow, look at that. I looked at it and go, it's Pak and the Lolos. Does anyone know what the kauna is for Pakalolo? That's a proud mom right there. I think that was my daughter, by the way. It is. Paka means, smoke, and Lolo means crazy. I'm a wahine, which is a girl, so when they say wahine Lolo, that means the crazy woman. I'm going to leave you with one last thing. What's the significance of the Hawaiian pua flower? On the left side or the right side? Does anyone know? Yes, if it's on the left side, that means you're married. That's your ring finger, right? If it's on this side, it means you're available. If you got the flower over here and the ring over here, you men, stay away. She's wahine Lolo. So, with that, it's Pak and the Lolos. He's joined by Adrian and Sam. Adrian Kumu is from American Samoa. And Sam, we didn't get where you're from. Boston or something crazy. All over the place. He is Asian. We're all Asian. Please welcome Pak and the Lolos to take us home.
How's everybody doing tonight? So talking about the kauna that Trila was talking about, I thought I would do a little bit of intro on this song that we're going to play first. It's got the title Pineapples. And when I wrote the song during COVID, I imagined my great-grandfather who left Korea in the year 1905 to travel by boat to Oahu all by himself. I often imagine what he went through, working 16 hours a day on the pineapple fields in central Oahu in Kunia, the plantation that my grandmother and her 11 siblings were born. I often thought that my great-grandfather didn't have a cell phone. He didn't have Instagram or Snapchat or Netflix What were the visual things that he saw that he could enjoy? It was his dreams every night. And I thought, what did he dream about? My great-grandmother didn't arrive till 4 years later as a picture bride. Maybe he dreamed about her off of one photograph. Maybe he dreamed about his family that he left. He went alone. Maybe he was dreaming about his future family that he would create. But because of him, we get to be on the stage today to play this song for you. So this song goes out to my great-grandfather. It's called Pineapples. Thank you so much for having us.
Pocket, I carry the picture you send to me. I didn't even need a little love sweat dripping from my shoulders. Kids are getting older. Hey, we travel so far across the sea. We never knew what we'd find. Someday our children, they'll be laughing, thinking about how far we've come. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. I don't wanna wake up. We made 11. We made some money. Give me some of your sugar, honey. Pineapple drink in my cup. Tell the boss I ain't playing no more. We traveled so far across the sea. We never knew what we'd find. Someday our children, they'll be smashing pineapples at sunset. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. I don't wanna wake up. Hit it, Sam. There's no rest for the weary. Sleep to dream, wake to work. What's the meaning? Don't wake me up, yeah. I still got time to get there. We travel so far across the sea. We never knew what we'd find. Someday our children, they'll be laughing, thinking about how far we've come. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. I don't wanna wake up. Seattle Museum Media Society, how you feeling?
Oh, thank you. This next song also takes us back to the island of Oahu.
takes us back to a time when I was in 7th grade. And I had lots of crushes. Y'all remember that time? Think about it. 13 years old, all kinds of hormones. Wrote this song also during COVID. In fact, I wrote it, I think she's in the audience. Amy Pak, are you here tonight? I can't see you, my wife. But anyway, we were back in Kaneohe and we're just kind of down by the water. And all of a sudden she screamed out loud, ah! She got stung by a centipede. And on the way home, Jayu, Asa, and I were humming a little melody for fun while Amy was dealing with her centipede bite, and it became this song. Crazy story. But that was the inspiration, was her scream. My mom, grandma, liked the melody while she was washing the dishes, and so we kept working on it. But then the song hit a roadblock for a while. Came back to Seattle. I realized that playing the song in 4/4 time, it just wasn't as interesting. So I tried it on the piano in 3/4 time, and it worked. It was incredible how the song just changed from 4/4 time to 3/4 time. And at the same time, our eldest son, Jayu, I think had his first girlfriend. He was in 7th grade at the time. And I thought about his 7th grade girlfriend. You know, it was COVID, so they're like talking over FaceTime and Zoom and all that kind of thing, right? But that's when I started to feel like this song needed to be finished. I was thinking about all those conversations, all the laughter that I was hearing, and I in my mind, in my heart, I sort of dedicated the finalizing of this song to that feeling of being young in love. Make some noise for the sound engineer. It sounds so good up here. I hope it sounds good out there. Thank you so much, Seattle Asian Art Museum and Asian Society for having us.
Such a pretty picture, I could hear you whisper. Lost in Honolulu, wish you were here with me, like a lucid dream. Trying to find my way, I wanted you to stay. And if you'd remember me, dancing to Billie Jean, chasing that Hollywood creeping next to me. It's true, you know that I love you. I knew that you could feel it too. It's true, you know that I love you. Played your song under the pale moonlight, shut down Waikiki, said I'd never leave you tonight. Ask me what I want and I'll tell you what I need. Maybe we'll run circles in each other's dreams. And if you remember me, dancing to Billie Jean, chasing that Hollywood creeping next to me. It's true, you know that I love you. I knew that you could feel it too. It's true, you know that I love you.
some noise for Adrian Kamu. Sam Damage. Even when we're apart, you're never far from my heart. Even when we're apart, you're never far from mine. Even when we're apart, you're never far from my heart. Even when we're apart, ooh, I know you could feel it. Ooh, I know you could feel it. Just to let you know, Adrian and I met just about a year ago at The Jam, which we host every first Thursday at Totem Star. I remember when Adrian walked in the room, sat behind the keys, and just blew everybody away. And now I have the honor of performing with her on stage. So Adrian, thank you so much for sharing your gift with us. You're amazing. Sam makes great barbecue. Being a Kansas City native, I got to sample his brisket, his pulled pork. I'm sorry for all the vegetarians or vegans in the room. I'm sorry.
I do a jackfruit too.
Jackfruit barbecue out of the pit, baby. Yeah. But I was invited by his family to enjoy Lunar New Year at their home, and I tell you, his family is amazing. They're the most welcoming people I've met, and the wontons that they make are fantastic. And I really hope that you all invite me back next year. Please. Sam Damage, everybody. Well, we're at that time of the night. We got one more song for you. And we hope that you sing it along with us. Don't worry, we'll teach you the part. This song takes me back to Youngstown Cultural Arts Center. Anyone know where that is? In West Seattle, on Del Ridge. Anyone? Youngstown? I thought I saw a hand out there. Maybe not. Youngstown is where Totem Star had his first brick and mortar studio. And we worked with, I think, up to about 3,000, maybe 4,000 young people in our first 10 years. until we moved to King Street Station. And as you can imagine, as young people come in and out of the studio, they might discover Totem Star when they're 16, 17, and one day they're 24, 25, and they move on to things. But this song is called Need Somebody, and it's a reminder to all the young people who have passed through our doors that no matter how far the distance, no matter how far you go, we're just a phone call away if you ever need someone. So thank you so much for having us. Seattle Asian Art Museum, Asian Society. Once again, my name is Daniel Pak, Adrian Kamu, Sam Damage, and you just got to see some amazing art from our new friend, Chongbin. So thanks for coming out tonight and celebrating this month with us. And like I said, when we all sing together, it naturally releases all those joy chemicals. So we're gonna sing this together. We're gonna teach you the part. So I'm gonna do it first, and I want you to copy, okay? Here we go. It goes like this. Whoa, oh, oh, we all need somebody. Your turn. Nice. Whoa, oh, oh, we all need somebody. You said this is the end. You're leaving on the jet plane. Do you remember where we'd sit and sing? It was beautiful, and now the sun has come and gone, and the rain it falls on us. As you pack your bags this time, just remember all we got is love. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. Whoa, oh, oh, we all need somebody. You need a friend. Loneliness has found you. Let her remind you to sing your song. Yeah. Now the sun has come and gone, and the rain it falls on us. Shine your light for everyone. In your voice they will all find love. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. Oh, I know that you went through a lot of pain. I know this is the only way we make a change. Begin to read alone. When are you coming home? Home, oh, if you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. If you're leaving, I'll still be here. You know just where to find me, call me. Don't you hesitate, I know you need somebody. Whoa,
all need somebody. Whoa, oh, oh. We all need somebody. Whoa, oh, oh. Everybody, clap your hands with me. Here we go. Whoa, oh, oh. We all need somebody. 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 Thank you so much, Seattle Asian Art Museum. Thank you so much, Asia Society. Give a round of applause to our host, Trila Bumstead, to our new best friend, Zheng Chongbin, to Margaret Conley from Asia Society. Whoa. And thanks to all you for coming out tonight. Aloha.
Thank you to Chongbin and Pak and the Lolos. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you soon.